everyone, welcome to the Energy Independence Show. Today we have a special guest from Solar Power World magazine, the editor-in-chief, Kelly Pickerel. And we are excited to have her join us today because she's very well informed. She has her own podcast. She's, very involved in the industry. But what I'd like to do is introduce her and say, welcome to the show, Kelly.
Thank you so much for having me. Very excited.
Awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you chose to be in the solar industry?
Yeah, so I'm editor-in-chief of Solar Power World magazine, like you said. My dream was always to be the editor of a magazine, to run my own magazine. And so I'm very happy to have the chance to do that. I graduated from journalism school during the middle of the Great Recession, right when all the newspapers and magazines were dying. So honestly, I took the very first journalism job that I could find, and it just happened to be it's a now defunct alternative energy magazine, but it kind of set me on this path to the solar field, and now I've been doing it for 10 years. And like I said, I'm just really happy to be in a very interesting industry and being able to run a magazine.
Awesome. Well, it's a big accomplishment what you're doing, even though, the Great Recession happened. We've all been through challenging times, kind of like right now.
Definitely.
So can you tell us about Solar Power World and your role there on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so Solar Power World, we're a trade publication. So that means that we gear all of our content to the various solar installers across the country. So everyone from the residential rooftop installers to the large scale, utility scale solar farm developers. We try to give them all tips and tricks on how to do their jobs better. We are a free print publication, so you can go online to our website. It's solarpowerworldonline.com and get a free subscription that's open to anybody. But day to day, we cover news. We do a lot of project updates, posting about that, or product developments, and following the various policy happenings across the country. I specifically focus on solar panel manufacturing and energy storage systems. So I'm learning a lot about that and talking a lot about that. And like you said, I do have my own podcast. I do the Contractors Corner podcast. It's a monthly podcast where I talk to solar installers across the country. We also have solar videos, video basics series that we do. And you can basically find Solar Power World on any platform that you use. We're on Instagram, LinkedIn, anywhere you are using, we're definitely there.
Awesome. Well, how's everyone doing over there at Solar Power World? I know it's a challenging time. How would you say the team at Solar Power World is handling the moment?
Yeah, so since we're a trade publication, we've been trying to gear our coronavirus content to ways that solar installers can do better at their jobs, stay in business, and kind of improve what they're doing. So we have 3 editors on the team here, and so we've been busy getting expert content and a lot of op-eds on like topics, how to remotely sell solar, or kind of how to transition into different areas, like maybe using drones to do site inspections to kind of limit those points of contact between people. So we're just trying to give as many tips and tricks to solar installers out there. We've also been following the various policy happenings. I know each state is handling coronavirus differently.
Right.
We just posted some news today about California specifically, about how you guys kind of clarified that solar and storage installers are essential workers because you are performing essential infrastructure work. So we're seeing things that are happening like that and making sure that we're keeping everybody informed of the news.
Yeah, speaking of storage, in times of uncertainty and power outages, public safety, power outages, it's kind of a tongue twister. You see growth potential in the solar plus storage market right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in markets like California, where solar and storage are a little bit more widely accepted. I'm based in Ohio, so we don't have the same population and power issues that you guys do, but I'm even seeing more people be interested in solar plus storage here because people just want to, control their energy consumption and where they're getting their energy and how much they're paying for things. So pairing solar with a battery is like the best way to produce your own energy to kind of limit your dependency on the grid. And so I think the whole country is moving to doing more of that.
Yeah, I have to say, so my wife, just on a side note, we had a power outage, a public power safety shutoff in the end of last year. And my wife was pregnant and we have a 2-story. My wife was like, hey, when can we get this in phase ensemble technology? Because I don't, she didn't ask how much it cost. She didn't care. She was like, hey, when can we get it? Not how much does it cost? So I think safety is a big thing right now. So are public power safety shutoffs, the tongue twister, the new norm in California?
I think for sure, especially, I mean, as long as there are going to be devastating wildfires and other weather events, and as long as, power is going to be fed over utility poles above ground, there's always going to be those potential for accidents or just having that need to shut off the power. So the best way to combat these shutoffs is to have a bunch of, microgrid situations where different areas can kind of stabilize themselves off the grid. And so, yeah, I think that is unfortunately the norm for California, and solar and storage is the way to go.
Well, I think that's why it's important for people like you who have your own show to talk about, and your magazine, a platform where a lot of conversations are happening. How can people find you again? Could you remind them?
Yeah, so the website is solarpowerworldonline.com. And yeah, we do have the daily news postings there, but we're very active on Twitter, LinkedIn, anywhere where you kind of are looking for that content, you can find us there.
Awesome. Well, if you're watching this show and you like what you see, and you like sharing information, we encourage you to join us at www.facebook.com/EIG Solar, where we have a group where you will find information from people like Kelly and others, experts in the industry, where we're talking about energy storage, being the power company, producing your own power, and independence in general. So we encourage you to join us again. And on question number 6, Kelly, we kind of wonder what the incentives are for people, particularly in our market in California, that are available to those that are affected in, say, fire regions, in places where maybe they're a business or an organization that relies on power, a nonprofit, a nursing home, or a hospital, or a food production facility. What kind of incentives are available for people with energy storage?
Yeah, so a lot of lithium battery manufacturers actually offer their own incentives right now for people in California affected by wildfires to sign on for storage. I know companies like Simplify, Blue Ion, they have a lot of discounts available just for California residents. So that's always a good place to start. But also the California Public Utilities Commission, they recently set new rules in its self-generation incentive program. And that set aside there's a lot of those in California. That sets aside $513 million for resiliency projects. So that means that customers that are in high risk areas that are considered medically vulnerable or low income, or even those critical facilities that are serving those customers. So like you said, maybe a nursing home or something like along those lines, they can receive that $513 million in incentives to install energy storage. So there are a lot of opportunities out there. Just kind of have to do a little bit of research.
Awesome. Well, that's why your research and your advocacy through your platforms is very important. And we may be reaching out to you and some of your friends to talk about that here in the Valley, where power outages and heat and keeping the fridge on is important, just like anywhere else in the country. But we are affected, as you know, by the public power safety shutoffs.
The PSPS, right?
Right. Hey, I'm going to start using the acronym. So what kind of, or how important is financing in the development of solar and storage in general for this market?
Yeah, so financing, I think, is still important, especially for the commercial solar and storage market. Battery costs are coming down, but often the initial setup cost for that, it's a little bit significant for many building or company owners. But low interest rates paired with the energy savings that you're getting by using storage, and that return on investment, that quick return on investment, I mean, that can provide little to no out-of-pocket costs to go solar and storage. So there, and even residential installers, they are offering their own financing options. So it's a growing thing in California. We want people to go solar and storage, so there are plenty of financing opportunities.
Yes, we see lots of finance companies, and we have a background in finance at our company, so we really appreciate the development of the market and our partners in financing. And we believe also that financing and investment and payback and whatnot are important to the industry. So what kind of activity is happening in commercial solar and storage market?
Mhm. Yeah, and maybe you can definitely talk about this more than me being in it every day. But I think we're seeing a lot more commercial customers actually exploring storage. I think it's well understood how storage can help homeowners on a daily basis with their energy consumption. But there are some real savings that come from the commercial market, especially in areas that maybe have peak shaving or other energy arbitrage features. So since many commercial business owners like factories or warehouses, they're all working during those normal business hours. And that's often when power prices are the most expensive. So if a storage system can be added to that equation, the energy costs can come down and that can make a lot more sense. So I think it's really exciting that we're starting to see more commercial entities actually looking into storage for those energy cost savings.
Yes, we're very excited, and we're fortunate to be in a part of the country where food and energy is important. And so there's a lot of opportunity for storage, but mostly in demand management. So, kilowatt hours are expensive, but how much you need at any given moment is really the cost that we're seeing as a challenge. So a lot of solar development has not happened because demand is so expensive. So we're seeing opportunity here with farmers, cold storages, warehouses in general, in conjunction with really high energy costs. So we're excited about that. And we could talk more about that later, but it is something that we see as a huge opportunity, and we're excited about it. So looking to the future, what are some of the exciting trends that you see in smart grids and energy independence in general? I know you love energy storage. What do you see as trends happening?
I just think it's really exciting that storage is finally starting to take off. This kind of it feels like how the solar industry felt 10 years ago when I started. Back then, it was kind of a turning point of instead of just early adopters or hippies going solar, it was starting to make a lot more financial sense to just go solar. And I think that same thing is happening right now with batteries. Battery costs are coming down. Their chemistries are being better understood. We understand how lithium ion works, maybe in fire situations or safety situations like that. We're starting to understand that. More utilities are accepting net metering and in other demand situations. So I think we're really on the cusp of some major adoption. And I think that's really the most exciting trend, is that there's finally some movement. It's like the stuff that I've been talking about for the last few years. It's actually starting to be adopted in more places than just California. I can talk about it in Ohio, and people are excited about that. So that's what I'm really looking for, is seeing it spread from the coasts to more of the Midwest, even, that storage is starting to pick up.
I had a lot of questions. I had to delete a lot because we only have 10. And one of those questions was, how much of an opportunity do you see for storage in the Midwest? I'm from Texas. You're there in Ohio, right? Mm-hmm. And so the rural areas where land is isolated and the grids don't quite reach yet, we see huge opportunities. So if anyone is interested in energy storage as a way to get rid of a diesel generator, or to make land valuable without asking for the utility company to bring in the power, it may be impossible to bring it to your beautiful property. But we encourage you to contact us or follow what we're doing, because people like Kelly are here to share with us ways and technologies and strategies for you and your independence to make a property or an opportunity happen. So one of the things we like to talk about, Kelly, is, it's a unique time period. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of uncertainty. We don't even have to name the crisis that we're in. But as we hunker down, can you leave us with some words of advice, maybe a favorite quote, something that could be uplifting for us here?
All right, this is going to sound a little pessimistic, but the phrase that I always kind of come back to is, we are not meant to be happy all of the time. And I think that's actually good to kind of look back on, that life is not always constantly rainbows and puppy dogs, but the good times far outweigh the bad. And so I think we might be going through a little bit of a rough patch right now, but I'm really excited about the future. solar and storage especially. It's just, I'm very excited to be part of it. For me, being in this for 10 years, I'm still so happy that I'm excited about learning about all the different developments. So, today might be a hard day, but tomorrow's going to be better. The future is going to be even brighter. I think we're going to come out of this even more resilient and more efficient. So I'm excited.
Hey, we're excited too. And I think you kind of captured the moment, which is what we call the solar silver lining. I appreciate that. I appreciate your time. I know it's a busy time, transformational time, a turning point, and we're turning a corner. But thank you again for joining us, Kelly. Where again can we find your podcast and the magazine that you edit?
Yeah, so the magazine is called Solar Power World. You can find us online. The website is solarpowerworldonline.com. You can also find the podcast Contractors Corner. You search it on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all of them. And yeah, find us on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere. We'll be happy to chat.
Awesome. Thanks again, Kelly, for your time. If you're watching, join us next time on the show. This week, we'll have a lot of guests and information. And the following week, we try to go on every day from Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. live. You can find us at facebook.com/EIG Solar and all of your social media platforms that are your favorite. So join us next time. Thanks again, Kelly. We will see you all soon.